Well, here we go again. Mark Cerny is back with a PlayStation 5 Pro technical seminar. Oh, let's see what this whole thing it's all about. All right, let's see. All right, let's watch this before I make any comments. Let's just listen to what he has to say. I'll skip through some of the stuff because it's half an hour. I don't want to waste half an hour of my time just watching the whole thing. I just want to go through certain segments of this.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. Today I'd like to do a deep dive into the technology behind our latest console, PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, to be clear, this is a bits and bytes talk with no game footage at all. Principally, I'll be explaining what we put into the PlayStation 5 Pro GPU and why. Historically, every 7 or so years, there's enough...
I already see a problem. Why do you have to read a teleprompter? Why can't you just speak from your own personal experience? Why can't you just speak for yourself and say, okay, the reason why we choose to go with this GPU and that CPU, why we did this, why we did X, Y, and Z, and this is why I wanted it to be done this way. This is why we're using the PSSSR with the dynamic scaling resolution, etc., etc. Why can't you just talk about, like, openly from yourself, from within? Why do you have to read a teleprompter anyway?
Interesting technological advances that we release a new generation of console, like PS3 or PS4 or 5. These introduce broad improvements like a more powerful CPU and GPU, and also significant new capabilities like compute shaders on PS4 or the SSD and 3D audio on PS5. Games can then be created with the whole console feature set in mind. It allows for a tremendous step up in what the player experiences. It does take a certain amount of time for game creators to get up to speed with that new console. But we're all prepared for that because the benefits of moving to that new generation are so high. Recently, there have also been console releases during a generation, like PS4 Pro and now PS5 Pro.
Oh my God. Are you gonna bore me to death? Are you gonna put me to sleep? Why? Why you have to give me this pep talk history? We all know. Why are we being treated like an idiots? This is unnecessary presentation. We are all aware what happened 10 years ago. From PS4 to PS4 Pro to PS5 4 Slim to PS5 and then PS5 Slim and now PS5 Pro and the PlayStation Portal. We're all aware of console history. Why is this so important and necessary for Sony to remind us of this? I don't need to be reminded, dude. I know. We all know the history of our consoles, all right? We're not an idiots. We are gamers. We are well aware of console history. This is such a waste of time. Anyway. Let's look at this. What is this? PS5 Pro 4-year journey. Oh my God.
At a time before PlayStation 5 had even been released. And of course, what we came up with was the set of improvements we've been calling the Big Three. First, there's that larger GPU. The idea is simple. Pretty much anything the game is rendering on PlayStation 5 should get a lot faster on PS5 Pro. Second, there are the upgrades to the ray tracing hardware. Those games that move to the new architecture should get a substantial additional speed boost. And finally, there's AI-driven upscaling. The upscaling technology is a combination of custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, PSSR for short, that runs on top of that hardware. PSSR analyzes the game images as it upscales them and can add quite a bit of crispness and detail. Now, to do all that, we needed a larger and more capable GPU. This is what we used on the original PS5. It's a GPU from our partner AMD. More specifically, it's an RDNA 2 GPU, meaning that it used the second generation of AMD's RDNA 2 technology. The GPU has subunits called workgroup processors, or WGPs. PlayStation 5 has 18 of them. The GPU on PS5 Pro is much larger. It has 30 workgroup processors. It's also what I'm calling a hybrid RDNA GPU, which is to say, it combines multiple generations of RDNA technology. The base technology for PS5 Pro is somewhere between RDNA 2 and RDNA 3. I'm calling it RDNA 2.x. As I'll shortly explain, that choice makes it much easier for game developers to port their games to the new console. Ray tracing uses what I'm calling future RDNA technology. It's roadmap RDNA that's well past the feature set today. It's showing up here first. And machine learning is custom, or to be more specific, it's 30 work.
Okay, so is this really a huge step up? They're using the same RDNA GPU. This is just more of a hybrid RDNA GPU with 30 working groups, while the original has 18 working groups. Is this going to be a major change, difference? You know, I don't know, man. I'm looking at this technical aspect of PlayStation 5 Pro, and I'm looking at like the original PS5. Is this like a major step up? And then the fact that it's being priced at $700 makes you wonder, is it really worth $700? You know, $600, okay, maybe I can swallow that. It's a little bit easier to swallow, but like $700, really? What's $750 with tax? So it's the same RDNA architecture, technology, same ray tracing. It's just it's more like a boosted up version. He calls it 2x, you know, like an upgrade. This is just like a more boosted RDNA, the same GPU, same CPU. It's just more boosted technology. That's a little bit more overclocked. That's it. This is just a more overclocked version of a RDNA. That's like in layman terms, essentially what he's saying is this is just basically more overclocked version of a RDNA that already exists on the current PS5 and PS5 Slim. So, anyway, let's continue.
Ray tracing uses what I'm calling future RDNA technology. It's roadmap RDNA that's well past the feature set today. It's showing up here first. And machine learning is custom, or to be more specific, it's custom enhancements to RDNA. And just to be clear, I may say machine learning or ML or AI today. These are just different words for the same topics. Now, to support that GPU and the overall plan for PS5 Pro, we needed faster memory and we needed more memory. The faster part is pretty simple. The system memory on PS5 Pro has a bandwidth of 576 gigabytes per second, which is 28% higher than PlayStation 5. More memory is needed for a variety of usage scenarios on PS5 Pro. Integrating PSSR takes memory. A few hundred megabytes are needed for its internal buffers. Adding ray tracing takes memory. Ray tracing uses data in the form of an acceleration structure that can easily be a few hundred megabytes in size. And if the game is targeting higher resolution, that can take memory as well. That can be just a little memory, perhaps if the maximum rendering resolution is being increased a bit, or it can be a lot of memory, for example, if the game is targeting 8K. So we supply over a gigabyte of extra memory to the games, and we do this in the same way we did on PS4 Pro, which is to say we added a hidden slower RAM. We used DDR5 for that, and moved a lot of the operating system into it. That keeps games, which need high bandwidth, in fast memory. Getting back to the hybrid GPU, I'd like to take you through each of the three aspects of our strategy, beginning with the choice of RDNA 2.x as the base technology. AMD is continuously updating the GPU technology. RDNA 3 has more functionality and is more performant than RDNA 2. There's even a chance to bring in future RDNA technologies like we did with ray tracing. If we're making a new generation of console, of course we want the latest and greatest, but with a mid-generation release like PS5 Pro, we also have to consider that a single game package needs to support both PS5 and PS5 Pro. That limited the degree to which we could adopt RDNA 3 technologies. For example, games have something called shader programs that execute on the GPU. A game might have over 100,000 of them. If we adopted RDNA 3 technologies to the extent that code compiled to run on PS5 Pro wouldn't run on PS5, that would mean creating two versions of each executable piece of code. One for PS5, another for PS5 Pro. That's a massive complication. The game package needs to be patched to include that second version, and then the game needs to either selectively load just the appropriate version or find room for both versions in system memory. It's a big burden for the developers. Consequently, PS5 Pro uses a version of RDNA that I'm calling RDNA 2.x, which is bringing in a number of features from RDNA 3, but not anything that would cause that degree of complications.
So basically what he's trying to tell me is the difference between PS5 and PS5 Pro, it's like 4090, I'm sorry, 3090 and 3090 Ti. That's the difference. But is that like a drastic difference? Are we looking at like something drastically that it's going to really be a huge benefit to these existing old games? Are we? I mean, here's my question. Yes, this is all technical jogger. It might be difficult for some of you to understand, but let's dissect this. Let's talk in layman terms so that my audience can understand. Is this going to be a game changer for these existing PlayStation 5 games and the games that are running on PlayStation 5 from third party? Are we going to see a major drastic difference? I look at some of the footage, man, I can't see the difference. I just can't. I mean, I know Digital Foundry tries to use the magnifying glass. They try to use the zoom-in Hubble telescope to show me that difference. I just don't see that difference. And then you ask yourself, well, what's the point? If I already have a PlayStation 5, why should I spend close to $800 on this PS5 Pro if I'm not going to see a drastic difference? I mean, they're still using deep learning super sampling, which is equivalent to NVIDIA's deep learning super sampling through this PSSSR, I call it PISR, scaling resolution technology. You're still using a scaling resolution technology. I don't care if you're running it in 1600p, 1800p. Xbox Series X is doing that on Indiana Jones. They're using scaling resolution technology, dynamic scaling resolution technology of 1800p. So what? To me, looking at this right now, it's hard to justify, honestly. I mean, when you deep dive, it's hard to justify paying this kind of cash. 800, because it's 750 plus. I mean, it's with tax, it's 750. And you want that disk drive, so you're looking at $800. Let's just circle it $800. And then you ask yourself, why? Why should I pay $800 when I can just buy PlayStation 5 digital for like $350 somewhere out there and have exactly the same experience? And there's not going to be a drastic difference me playing The Last of Us Part 1 on a PlayStation 5 digital versus me playing The Last of Us Part 1 on a PS5 Pro. unless I'm using a magnifying glass, unless I'm using a Hubble telescope. And I think the whole point of this presentation is to make some justification as to why you purchased PS5 Pro in the first place. Because let's be honest, Sony is struggling to sell PS5 Pro. It's not selling out. You can walk into a Best Buy and buy one right now. You can walk into a GameStop, EB Games, Walmart, Target. You can buy one right now. You can go to Amazon and buy one. They're available. They're not like difficult to find. And that's exactly why they're available. They're available because it's not a major difference. You know, we're not talking a drastic difference between, you know, what you will experience on a $350 console, PS5 digital, versus a $800 console with tax and everything, which is PS5 Pro. Because you know you want to pay $80 for that 4K usually Blu-ray disc drive. So, is it really worth it? And this video is trying to justify, oh, this is why you're paying that kind of cash. I don't know, guys. I mean, I know some of my friends who have this console, they're trying to justify it. But man, I don't know, man. The more I look at it, the more I'm doing this research, the more I talk to people, the more people are saying, look, I know people want to justify whatever purchase they make because they don't want to look like donkeys. Oh, I just wasted $800 for nothing. But the truth to be told, it's, to me, this is not a major upgrade. Sure, you will benefit on some areas and certain games with certain performance, but we're not talking drastic difference. If we are talking native 4K 60 on every game, okay, take my money. Take my money. But we're not talking a native 4K 60 with ray tracing on every game. If that was the case, if you could play all of your games, all of your PlayStation 5 exclusives in native 4K 60 with ray tracing, with full ray tracing, oh, dude, take my money. Well, first of all, you wouldn't be able to find a console to buy it because it would be sold out and you would have to buy it from a reseller on eBay or StockX for like, $3,000 or something like that. I think this is the important part that I want everybody to understand. People don't mind paying money, but they're asking themselves, I'm paying $800 for what? Essentially, what am I paying $800 for? A deep learning super sampling? That's essentially what you're paying. You're paying for a pisser. Some scaling resolution. You're not paying for a native 4K. I want to just clarify this so just everybody understands. PS5 Pro, it's not going to run all of your games in native 4K 60. Maybe some sports games here and there, a couple of exceptions. You know, they're all going to be using scaling, pisser technology. Anyway, let's continue. I don't look, guys. I don't have the console, but man, the more research I do, and now me watching this, it clarifies and justifies to me what I already was afraid of. That, that Sony's struggling with the PS5 Pro, and that's why they're doing this. When was the last time you saw a commercial about PS5 Pro? Go buy a PS5 Pro. Where's the Christmas commercial for PS5 Pro? I don't see it. Where is it? Yeah, exactly.
For example, aspects of vertex and primitive processing are faster on PS5 Pro. That's from bringing in parts of the geometry pipe from RDNA 3 that are powerful, but either trivial for the game to adopt, or better yet, invisible to the game program. One thing I'd like to clear up is the erroneous 33.5 teraflop number that's been circulating for PS5 Pro. That number isn't anywhere in our developer docs. It comes from a misunderstanding by someone commenting on leaked PS5 Pro technical information. Part of the confusion comes from RDNA 3 architectures having double the flops of RDNA 2 architectures. Now, to quote Digital Foundry on this topic, it's a nice little bonus to have twice the flops, but it doesn't do anything like double real-world performance. So there's a certain amount of flopflation going on here. We did not bring in the doubled floating point math from RDNA 3 because achieving that bonus in performance would require a recompile for PS5 Pro. And as I said, having two versions of each compiled piece of code would create more work than we're comfortable asking the developers to do. Here, then, are the correct stats for PS5 Pro. It's pretty simple. PS5 Pro has 30 workgroup processors, which is 67% more than PS5 has, so the flops should be 67% higher as well. If we assume a pretty common operating frequency of 2.17 gigahertz, the math works out to 16.7 teraflops on PS5.
And that's what I've been saying. I called it out, didn't I? What did I say? Xbox Series X has 12 teraflops, and PlayStation 5 Pro only has 16. And that's what I said on the Indiana Jones. On the Indiana Jones walkthrough, I said, are you trying to tell me that a console that has 16 teraflops, PS5 Pro, versus a Xbox Series X that has 12 teraflops, do you really think that extra 4.7 teraflops will do much of a difference? Right? Series X has 12 teraflops. Pro has 16.7 teraflops. So 4.7 teraflops. Well, let's just circle it 4 extra teraflops. So are you trying to tell me that the extra 4 teraflops are going to make some drastic difference? The way the game's being played on the Series X versus the way the game's going to be played on the Pro? Are you out of your mind? If you want to drink that Kool-Aid to think that Indiana Jones will look something better on the Pro versus what the Series X is doing with 12 teraflops, if you think that the developers will all of a sudden find this magic from a genie bottle that's going to make Indiana Jones look something amazingly better, if you think that the PS5 Pro will run Indiana Jones in native 4K, 60 FPS, you are out of your mind. Listen, this is the issue of. I'll agree with Mark Cerny on one thing: the misinformation. God knows there's so much misinformation on the internet. Oh my God, what a cesspool! What a dump fill of cesspool of garbage that's floating around out there, man, on the interwebs. Man, the amount of misinformation, the amount of garbage that's floating around on the internet, man, it's unbelievable. And then on top of that, you got a lot of people believing that. You know, the older fanboys are jumping on the bandwagon, believing all that crap, instead of going to the source and learning from the source, like I am. Here's the source. Hearing it from the source, not from some, whatever, a fanboy. So I'm looking at this. It's the same processor, same RDNA, but they call it RDNA 2.x because it has 30 work groups and 16 teraflops. Now, 30 work groups with 16 teraflops versus 18 working groups and 10 teraflops. Is this going to make your game on PlayStation 5 look any better on PS5 Pro versus PS5? No. Is this going to make The Last of Us Part 1 look better, run better on the Pro? No. Are you going to be able to tell a difference? No. So then what's the point? And I'm talking to my friends too. So then what's the point of buying PS5 Pro? What's the point of spending $800, dude? Why not just wait for PS6? If you can't tell a difference, so what's the point? If I can't tell a difference, so why am I paying $800 for? Because you know you're gonna want that Blu-ray disc drive. So, why? Why should I spend my hard-earned cash? And this is also a question for you guys. Why should you spend your hard-earned cash if this is all you're getting? Is this really warranted? Does this warrant you to purchase super expensive console? Why do that when you know that the PS6 is just around the corner? So you're gonna spend $800 on this, and then you're gonna say, oh shit, PlayStation 6 has been announced for 2026 holidays. Oh Jesus. And I just wasted my money on this thing, $800. And then you're gonna look like a donkey next year. You're gonna look like a donkey next year when they make the announcement for PS6 2026 holiday. And you're gonna say, wow, what a donkey I was. I wasted $800 on this PS5 Pro when you knew deep down that it's not worth it. Now, if this PS5 Pro was super powerful and it was running everything at a native 4K 60 at the full ray tracing, for the love of God, yes, please take my money. But that's not the case. And you're not going to see a drastic difference. I know people are trying to zoom in, and Digital Foundry is doing their best to zoom in and use the Hubble. If you have to zoom in and you have to use a Hubble telescope, I'm sorry. You're not convincing me why I should buy a PS5 Pro. Because we can't see a drastic difference. Remember, if you can't see a drastic difference, I'm sorry. You already lost me. And I know what this is. This is just a clarification. This presentation, it's a clarification to everyone who has purchased PS5 Pro. Look, I'm here. My name is Mark Cerny. Sony sent me here to just reassure you that don't worry. You didn't waste your money this holiday season. You didn't waste $800. Everything's hunky-dory. You see, you got 16 teraflops. You got 30 work groups, man. It's all good. Don't worry. Your games are looking great. They want you to drink this. They want to hypnotize you. They want to spoon-fed you whatever BS to make you believe that, to give you some clarification that you didn't waste your money. That's what this is about. All this mumbo jumbo, blah, blah, blah. It's about to make this clarification to reassure you that you did not waste your hard-earned cash. But in truth, yes, you did. You did. I mean, listen, I'm still going to, I don't even know if I'm going to purchase PS5 Pro, to be honest. I don't know, man. I'll just wait for PS6. I don't even know right now at this point, man. I don't know, man, because this is not convincing to me. This will be my thumbnail. Because this is not convincing. I'm not. Look, this right here tells me everything I need to know. I don't even have to listen to the rest of the video. I already know. This thing right here tells me everything I need to know. This tells me everything I need to know. Just looking at these specs, I rest my case. I rest my case, Your Honor. That's it. The case The court has been adjourned. That's it. I rest my case, Your Honor. But anyway, let's see what else he has to say. Mark Cerny.
Pro. Of course, teraflop numbers are pretty meaningless. What isn't meaningless is the performance of the PS5 Pro GPU. 67% more workgroup processors means that we can create synthetic tests that show 67% faster processing. In practice, though, there are a lot of factors involved, such as memory bandwidth or even how a particular game engine responds to the details of the new architecture. So a game team might be looking for something more like a 45% increase in rendering speed. That's still a huge improvement, though. At that performance, it means that if a game is running at 60 FPS and is taking 16 milliseconds to render on PS5, then that same frame could be rendered in 11 milliseconds on PS5 Pro. That leaves 5 milliseconds to do something new and exciting.
And hold on a second, Mark Cerny. Are you trying to tell me that my eye and majority of people's eyes will be able to tell a difference between 16 milliseconds and 11 milliseconds? I repeat again. Mark Cerny, are you trying to tell me that my eyes and everyone else's eyes will be able to tell a difference of performance rendering between 11 milliseconds and 16 milliseconds? I'm just saying. That's a 5 milliseconds difference. So my eyes can tell a difference between a 5 milliseconds difference. Come on, man. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This lullaby, this nonsense talk. To give you some clarification, justification that you haven't wasted your money. Yes, you have. Because you're not getting a drastic difference. You can't tell milliseconds. You're a human eye. You're not a Superman. You're not some advanced civilization from another space. You don't have the X-ray vision. You can't tell. A human eye cannot tell a difference. We're talking about a major difference. Drastic difference. And you ain't getting that major drastic difference on the PS5 Pro. And this is one of the reasons why it's not selling so well. Because people are asking themselves and they're saying, look, I already have a PS5. I'm good. Me playing these games on the PS5 will not really make much of a difference if I play it on a PS5 Pro, because I won't be able to tell a difference. I've seen people put PS5 Slim and PS5 Pro right next to each other, and the guy says, dude, I can't tell a difference. There's plenty of videos, YouTube videos, where the guy's saying, like, dude, I can't tell a difference. My eyes can tell. And if your eyes can tell a difference, dude, so then what's the point of wasting that $800? Well, you're making Sony happy, giving them $800. But are you making yourself happy because you can't tell a difference? So then what's the point? Why upgrade? If there is no drastic difference, look, I don't mean to be yelling. I don't mean to be like, I'm just speaking common sense, all right? If you can't tell a drastic difference, so why upgrade? Why? Because Mark Cerny said so? He works for Sony. He's reading a teleprompter. That's his bread and butter. That's how he makes money. That's how he can afford to live in a big house in LA. All right? Don't worry about him. Worry about yourself. He's doing great. He's driving a very expensive Tesla cars. He's got a big house. Okay? This is his job. He's getting paid for it. You, as a customer, you have to educate yourself and you have to say, I don't care what the corporate's saying. I do care about what's good for me. I already have a PS5. It's already running these games great. If I decide to spend $800 to upgrade to PS5 Pro, am I getting a drastic difference that warrants that $800? The answer is no. No. No, because I have yet to see a proof that can show me a drastic difference. Maybe Rockstar with Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe they can pull some magic. But I don't think so. I really don't believe that's going to be the case. I don't think there's going to be a drastic difference on a Grand Theft Auto 6, either. So, listen.
Like adding ray tracing, which is the second of our 3 key improvements on PS5 Pro. There's a passion in the game development community for ray tracing. Even in 2020, before the launch of PlayStation 5, we could see creators using ray tracing to add reflections and improved lighting to their games. At the same time, calculation costs for the rays were pretty high, so when we kicked off development of PS5 Pro later that year, one of our top priorities was finding ways to accelerate that computation. Those conversations with AMD led to our very nice feature set that's showing up here first. Note that there's 2 factors increasing the performance.
Look, I'm not going to go through all of this and watch and dissect all of this. I already spent 35 minutes. Look, all I'm going to say is this. This is just Sony trying to reassure their customers that, hey, you didn't waste your money. Please don't refund the PS5 Pro. That's what this is. This is a campaign for them, not for you not to refund your PS5 Pro. They want you to keep your PS5 Pro. And that's why they made this. So they can reassure everybody, hey, please, this holiday season, don't return your PS5 Pro. Keep it. We're going to have Mark Cerny go in there for 30, how many minutes? 37 minutes. Go through all the details in 37 minutes to give you a clarification, to give you a justification why you purchased your PS5 Pro. So this is like a justification. That's what this is, man. This is as simple as that. This is a damage control by Sony by sending Mark Cerny here to do this presentation to give you, the individuals who purchased PS5 Pro, to give you some justification and clarification that, hey, you did not waste your money. You got 67% more of working groups, as if that's going to make much of a difference. It's not. And then the teraflops, he already says that teraflops are meaningless. He already said it. And then he said, oh, we got these 67% more working groups that will really help with the performance. You will notice the 5 millisecond difference. Yeah, you will notice the 5 millisecond difference. No, you won't. Between 11 milliseconds and 16 milliseconds rendering, yeah, your eyes can tell the difference. Come on, man. Look, this is pathetic. This is just a pathetic attempt by Sony to justify the price, to justify their decision on making this console, and also to not have you return the console, because they're afraid that people will start refunding their PS5 Pro. And Sony doesn't want that. They don't want you to return PS5 Pro. And I think there might be a lot of people out there who are doing that, returning their PS5 Pros. I've seen it. I've seen it even in Best Buy. Open box PS5 Pro. Even at the GameStop, open box PS5 Pro. So what does this tell you? This is, to me, a red flag that tells me that the PS5 Pro, it's not going well as Sony has planned it to go. And they might have to cut the price on it. Maybe, who knows, if they decide to do that next year to like $600. I don't know. Or they might add a Blu-ray disc in there with a 600. I don't know. Look, the point being is, I don't know, man. I'm conflicted with this whole PS5 Pro. It's a tough sell. I even made a video where I said PS5 Pro, it's a tough sell. It's a really tough sell. It's not like clear and cut case where hey, this is a native 4K 60 machine with full ray tracing. and you can play every game in a native 4K 60 full A ray tracing and native 8K 30 FPS with full ray tracing. If that was the case, then by all means, take my money. But that's not the case. Now, all of this, look, this extra boost is welcomed. Okay, before I leave, I want to say this. Having this extra boost, it's welcomed. It's nice. It's good to have that. But is it really worth it? $800, the upgrade? No, because you're not going to see a drastic difference. That's the whole point here. That I hope that you guys, from my perspective, see on this video. For me to purchase something, to buy something, I have to have a pretty good reason. And if you can give me a pretty good reason, and if you can convince me, then that's it. I'm not buying it. Anyway, that's it, man. I'm done. It's been 40 minutes. I know it's a long video, but, you know, he's been talking for 37 minutes on this video. So that's the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. I personally don't think that at this point, looking at this, I don't think PS5 Pro, it's worth $800. And I say $800, it's because you have to pay taxes, which is $750, and then you know you want that physical media disc, which is $80. So you're looking at roughly like $830, $840. $840, and then PlayStation Plus membership, and then an extra controller. Man, you're looking at $900 right there, man. Not worth it, man. Might as well just wait for a PS6. You know what I mean? Okay? I want a drastic difference. I want a console that plays everything at native 4K 60 with full ray tracing. Or at least native 8K 30 FPS on some games. That's what you got to give me. You got to give me a console that it's capable of doing native 4K 60 FPS with full ray tracing and native 8K with full ray tracing at 30 FPS. And if you can give me that, well, then why should I pay you $800, $900? And depending where, if you're in Canada, it might be $1,000. You know. So anyway, if you're in UK, it's even more than that. It's like 1,000 pounds. So yeah, this is, yeah, guys, I mean, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm going to leave the video by saying this. I'm not convinced with the PS5 Pro. I'm just not convinced. Honestly, I'm not. And now him doing this seminar shows me exactly that they're struggling and that they're not really doing well with PS5 Pro. This is just a clarification and justification for you who already own PS5 Pro, so that way you don't return it. They're hoping you're going to see this video so you don't return your PS5 Pro this holiday season, so you can keep it. Sony is hoping that you will keep it, that you will not return it. That's what they're hoping by this video. They're hoping with this video that you will keep your PS5 Pro and you will not return it. So that's it. I don't know what else to tell you guys. You give me a comment. Let me know what you think. I already told you what I think. Okay? All right. Take care.